This is Epic Book Recaps, a podcast that offers complimentary audio summaries of influential non-fiction books, making learning a smarter experience. Raising Good Humans by Hunter Clarke-Fields, MSAE. Mindfulness outranks impulsiveness. Being a first-time parent often presents unexpected challenges contrary to initial expectations. For most children, adolescence serves as a stage of awakening self-awareness. This period is usually characterized by them starting to do things their way, often to the chagrin of their parents. If you've ever felt exasperated, let down, disenchanted, or guilty, perhaps through shouting, stomping, or sobbing, you're not alone. Parenting is a complex task. It involves the balancing act of preparing meals, keeping a clean home, ensuring everyone remains on schedule, all while appearing composed. It's crucial to build robust relationships with your children, as the model parent is consistently warm, understanding, and supportive. However, the reality is that finding joy in parenting isn't always effortless. Occasionally, you might vent frustration, lose your temper, or utter words you later regret. Lead by example by helping your children understand their wants and needs. Learn how to manage stress and maintain effective communication with your child. Also, identify any potential harmful generational patterns in your family. Use these patterns as a guide, allowing you to be more aware and therefore release any tension or pressure from parenting. When you react rather than respond, it often leads to subpar parenting. Imagine if you could deliberately respond in certain situations instead of reacting impulsively, mirroring your parents' words. What kind of impact could that create? When your brain perceives a threat falsely, it can lead to automatic reactions, also known as losing it. Squabbles with your kids might trigger these involuntary physiological responses. While these reactions are rarely chosen, as you'll discover, there is some wiggle room to limit their harmful impact. Without exploring and rectifying these biological tendencies, parenting can transform into an unnecessarily strenuous ordeal. However, it doesn't have to be this way. Often, losing it is linked to biology and evolution, but there are strategies to manage it. When your stress response is activated, you lose access to the rational part of your brain. Clarke-Fields proposes mindfulness meditation as a means to circumvent heightened stress and be the best parent you can be. This form of meditation provides the foundation for rational thinking in challenging parenting situations. To achieve this state of being, focus on the present moment, resisting the urge to let your mind wander. Train yourself to observe the current situation without attaching any value to it. Interestingly, children are constantly changing and developing new characteristics each day, thus labeling them might not be the best approach. It's also worth noting that labels are not always accurate, as they carry fixed connotations. If your children live up to the low expectations you've set for them, your concerns might become a reality. While your automatic responses are useful in emergencies, you are a far more effective and attentive parent when you can manage your stress reactions. Mindfulness meditation is a scientifically proven technique to gradually build that non-reactive strength. Children are naturally perceptive and understand their parents' triggers. They might develop emotional manipulation tactics when they feel cornered by their parents. These triggers are emotional landmines that children intentionally or unintentionally activate in their parents, leading to feelings of guilt or regret. Every parent can recall instances when their child's words or actions led to an overwhelming emotional reaction. Identifying your triggers allows you to respond more consciously when they appear or aim to enhance your self-awareness day by day. Becoming an informed, ideal parent doesn't happen overnight. Instead of blaming yourself for your anger, acknowledge it. Your upbringing tends to linger in the recesses of your mind throughout adulthood, resurfacing when you have children. Since each child is unique, attempt to eliminate any parenting stereotypes. Understand that children might respond differently to instructions and corrections than you did at their age. The best predictor of a child's well-being is the parent's self-understanding. Tilda Daniel Siegel. Understanding what causes people to flare up can help manage rare bouts of rage. What are those buttons that your kids push? Take a moment to reflect on what triggers your anger and how you usually react in the following exercise. Reducing your overall stress levels might be the most effective way to minimize yelling. Here are some suggestions for reducing general stress. Engage in mindful walking exercises regularly. Ensure you have sufficient rest. Consider yourself a teacher and view misbehavior as an opportunity to patiently teach a lesson. Whisper instead of yelling when you're upset. If possible, wait 10 minutes before addressing the child's mistake. Spend time with your friends and family. Did you know? According to a study on child development conducted by Gershoff and colleagues, yelling can lead children to become physically and verbally aggressive. Scientist Brené Brown argues that when we act unethically or against our values, we experience guilt. While guilt can be constructive, shame is damaging and doesn't promote positive behavioral changes. Feeling shame corrodes the part of us that knows we can do better. The message we send ourselves after a setback determines whether we grow or shrink. As Brown's research suggests, our internal monologue has far-reaching consequences. Criticizing others as well as ourselves is unnecessary. We can choose to treat ourselves with respect and compassion instead. According to researcher Kristen Neff from the University of Texas at Austin, self-compassion can be divided into 3 aspects: self-kindness, mindfulness, and shared humanity. So how do we practice self-compassion instead of self-judgment? Begin by recognizing and halting our negative self-talk. Regular meditation can increase clarity and awareness of your thoughts. When spontaneously provoked, people might experience feelings of self-loathing or anger towards their defiant child. If these feelings are left unchecked, they can become toxic, so it's essential to address them as soon as they surface. Accepting uncomfortable feelings is the first step towards overcoming them. Acknowledging our unpleasant emotions will help us recover faster. RAIN, recognize, accept, investigate, and nurture, can facilitate a conscious process of emotions, preventing them from being suppressed or overwhelming. This skill, which becomes easier with practice, aids quicker recovery and greater tranquility. If we recognize, accept, investigate, and nurture our intense emotions, we can provide a stabilizing presence for our kids during challenging times. Conflicts often arise in relationships as each party attempts to satisfy their needs. However, understanding that children are merely learning to meet their needs can prevent many issues. Every time your child speaks to you, they seek a connection. Consider this as a mindfulness bell, a signal to pause and listen attentively. By practicing attentive, non-judgmental listening, you can genuinely understand your child's perspective, making them feel seen and heard. If you genuinely care, your presence is the greatest gift you can give. Remember, there's no room for love in isolation. After listening to your child and attempting to understand their needs, it's your responsibility to respond mindfully. However, when the child needs attention, be available and set boundaries when necessary. This means teaching them to understand that you also require personal time to function optimally in your parenting role. Therefore, give your children your full attention and remember to cut yourself some slack. There will be times when you feel annoyed, upset, and frustrated with your children. Children are, by definition, immature, and it's important to realize that they can be thoughtless and destructive, not out of malicious intent, but to meet their needs. Identifying your needs is the first step towards building a lasting, positive relationship with your children. Instead of being stern and demanding while giving instructions, consider using humor. Infusing joy into daily routines makes it easier to establish a connection. When you incorporate these skills into your daily routine, your child begins to show less resistance. Why? Your children learn they can trust you to treat them with dignity and respect, and they will genuinely want to cooperate with you. This communication style also nurtures your child's natural sense of empathy. Research suggests that siblings argue approximately once an hour, while parents and teenagers dispute once daily. Our needs play a pivotal role in various forms of conflict because fulfilling our needs often interferes with others' needs. Most parents take an authoritarian approach to resolving issues, employing various disciplinary tactics with their children. One of the most glaring flaws of punishment is that it fails to teach our youth any valuable lessons. The authoritarian approach assumes that by punishing children for their misbehavior, they will recognize their mistakes and be motivated to change their behavior. Instead, children learn that those with the most power prevail, regardless of fairness. The greatest gifts you can give your children are the roots of responsibility and the wings of independence. Tilda Dennis Waitley. The goal is to find a balance rather than swinging to the opposite extreme of conflict resolution, permissiveness. The only way to achieve this balance is to understand and demystify parent-child conflicts in terms of needs. Parents and children should set aside their differences and collaborate to resolve conflicts, thus fostering stronger relationships. The love we have for our children holds our families together. It's the most critical factor in molding a decent adult. Our training in mindfulness and self-compassion helps us foster strong, loving relationships. When our children realize that we're always there for them, they feel secure and loved. They reciprocate this love when they see the love we show them. Unconditional love, guidance, and reasonable limits are crucial for children. Setting limits becomes easier when we focus on mindfulness, skilled communication, and a strong connection. Parenting becomes simpler when you foster responsibility, stability, and independence. Mindful parenting focuses on fostering a lasting, loving connection rather than striving for specific results. You can only inspire voluntary cooperation through your interconnected relationships. When children experience kindness and consideration without excessive worry, they naturally want to do what's best for their parents. Raising ethical children benefits not only your family but also society and future generations. Being present in your child's life and ensuring they feel heard and appreciated helps them grow into resilient adults. Your actions have a far-reaching impact, particularly on the person you love the most, your child. So, if you're thinking about changing your parenting style, go for it. To practice this, parents can intentionally cultivate healthy relationships with their children by investing time and effort into developing a nurturing bond. Guide your children towards discovering purpose through age-appropriate chores. Provide verbal encouragement. Gradually help your children build independence.